Well, good afternoon, Pirate fans, and welcome to this final home contest for your Armstrong Atlantic State University Pirates. Today, Armstrong Atlantic takes on USC Aiken in an all-important third game of this Peach Bowl Conference Series. Yesterday, these two teams split the doubleheader, so today is the rubber game. Chad Jackson here to bring you the action today, joined again by Joe Kucharski. And Joe, good doubleheader yesterday. Saw a little bit of everything. Really saw a nice response from the Pacers after losing game one, but it was a good win for the Pirates with Truman Merrick really the story.
Right, the first game, Truman Merrick hit a three-run homer in the last of the eighth, and then came in and pitched the scoreless 1-2-3 ninth for the save. The Pacers did make a nice response after falling behind 2-0 in the second game and came back for an 8-3 victory. And Bo Hill pitched very fine in relief for the Pacers and actually retired, I think it was 4 1/3 innings in the game.
So the Pirates will turn to junior Ross Partee here in game number 3. He'll be countered by USC Aiken lefty John Paul. Partee on the season for the Pirates with a 5-4 record, a 4.82 earned run average. He's making his 14th appearance and 12th start of the year. He has thrown 71 innings, given up 76 hits, walked 20, struck out 41. He's a pitcher that always works around the plate, doesn't overpower hitters, just lays the ball over the plate, lets the defense do the job, and he starts off the leadoff hitter for the Pacers, Daryl Pui, with a strike. Another pitch, another strike. Partee gets ahead of Pui here 0-2. Daryl, 333 average, no homers, and 37 runs driven in on the season. Changeup sails outside, making it 1-2. It is senior day here at Pirate Field. 10 Pirates seeing their final action at home in the Pirate uniforms, and 6 of them, as there's a line drive in the left field for a base hit off the bat of Pui. 6 of those 10 seniors in the starting lineup for head coach Joe Roberts and the Pirates today. So Aiken starts things off with a base hit. Ben Tankersley, the left fielder, steps up now. 353 average, no homers, 34 runs driven in.
Tankersley went 3 for 8 yesterday, 2 for 3 in the second game, and he scored 3 times.
We saw quite a bit of small ball from both teams yesterday. It'll be interesting to see if Aiken goes that route again today with Tankersley at the plate, the leadoff runner on. Pui with a pretty good lead at first. Partee's first pitch is outside for a ball, and Tankersley showed bunt.
And Tankersley leads the Pacers in sacrifice bunts with 15 this season, and is a good bat handler and is able to lay the ball down pretty well where he needs to.
Defensively for the Pirates behind Partee, senior Sean Hotzak is behind the plate. Almost an entire senior outfield with 2 seniors in the infield, Tyler Evans and Josh Dallas at first and short respectively. Partee delivers a strike to make the count 1-1. And then in the outfield, Truman Merrick in right, Mark Noble in center, Brad Bohannon left, all seniors for the Pirates.
The leadoff hitter on for the Pacers right now, and Tankersley looking to move him along for the big guns and RBIs and home runs for the Pacers coming up next.
Thrower to first chases Pui back to the bag. Daryl Pui has 18 stolen bases, which leads the Pacers. Pacers ran a couple of times yesterday, including one from an unlikely source. Another pitch is a ball as Tankersley showed bunt, but took it up around his eyeballs. In fact, we had 2 stolen bases in a doubleheader yesterday by catchers, 1 for each team.
And for each team, I remember Sean Hotzak's stolen base, I think just absolutely surprised Scott Wanless, and he took it uncontested. Etchews was actually caught off a base a little bit and got in a rundown and managed over to the third base when the throw hit him in the back of the head.
Another thrower to first by Partee, trying to cut down Pui's lead over there. It's a 2-1 count. We are just underway here from Pirate Field. A strike on the outside part of the plate brings the count to 2-2. Well, fans, a lot of action around the Peach Belt yesterday, and the upshot of that action is that the field for the Peach Belt Conference tournament has now been set. Armstrong Atlantic USC Aiken will join Georgia College, Columbus State, Francis Marion in the Peach Bowl Conference Tournament with host USC Upstate in Spartanburg. That'll be in 2 weeks' time over at Harley Park. Runner goes on the pitch. No, he bluffs, and then the ball gets away from Hotsack. Had Pui kept going, he would have made it to second easily.
Right, exactly. Pui bluffed a steal, stopped, and then the ball was in the dirt. Hotsack made a good job of blocking and kept him in front of him so Pui couldn't advance once he had stopped.
So the count runs full on Ben Tankersley, the left fielder for USC Aiken. See if the runner goes on the full count pitch. He does not, because Partee throws over to first. Georgia College and State University is your Peach Belt Conference regular season champion for 2007. They swept Augusta State yesterday and win the title by 1 game over Columbus State, who split yesterday with USC Upstate. Partee delivers, the runner goes, and there's a fly ball in the center field. On the run is Noble. He'll make the catch, and Pui will have to scamper back towards first base.
Yeah, definitely a tale of two different types of ball games. Georgia College won both games 16-4 and 16-2 against Augusta State. In the Upstate Columbus series, the games were 2-1 Upstate and then 5-1 Columbus.
Francis Marion 16-11. Looks like they will be the 3 seed, and then it's all bunched 4 through 6. USC Aiken right now 15-14, and then Armstrong Atlantic and USC Upstate at 500 in the league, with today's game still in the balance, and then Armstrong Atlantic's trip to North Georgia next weekend.
Right. The only way USC Aiken can move up in the to the 3rd seed would be if they won today and Francis Marion got swept next weekend at Lander.
Chad Jacobson swings and misses at the first pitch from Ross Partee. Jacobson, the slugging first baseman for the Pacers, 353 average, 10 home runs, 71 runs driven in. Another throw over to first. Pui back to the bag.
Jacobson, 71 RBIs, is 3 shy of the Pacer record for RBIs in a season, held by Ashley Farr and Demetric Drumming.
So the sweep by Georgia College knocks Augusta State out of contention for the Peach Bowl Conference Tournament. Runner goes on the pitch, throw down to second, and Pui is out trying to steal on a nice throw by Sean Hotsack. It's just the 6th time that Pui's been cut down on the base pass. But it's the all-important second out, and now you've got Jacobson hitting with nobody on base.
And an example of Tankersley's ineffectiveness of getting the bunt down or moving the runner along even with the 2-strike count.
So Partee will now go to work. Back from the windup, 1-1 pitch to Jacobson is high. Augusta State finishes the Peach Bowl Conference season 11-16. They had their 3-game series at Georgia Southwestern canceled because of the tornadoes that ripped through Americus earlier in the season, and because of scheduling conflicts, the Peach Bowl Conference has decided that those 3 games will not be made up. So Augusta State is on the outside looking in for the Peach Bowl Conference Tournament this year. Missing those 3 games, it still would not have been a lock, because a lot would have had to happen not only with their series but with Armstrong Atlantic's series at North Georgia for them to get in. But still, a little odd that the field of play determined by that. Fly ball to deep left field over by the line, and Brad Bohannon makes the catch on the warning track for the final out of the 1st inning. We go to the bottom of the 1st. Pirates coming to bat. We move to the bottom of the first inning. Armstrong Atlantic will get its first look at left-hander John Paul. Paul making his 13th start of the season. He is 6-6 with a 4.41 earned run average. 79.2 innings pitched, 101 hits given up. He has walked 24 and struck out 39, so another pitcher, Joe, that keeps the ball around the plate, gives up a lot of hits, but lets his defense do the job.
John Paul at his best, keeps the ball around the plate, makes the batters hit ground balls, uses his defense well. When he's not on, a lot of those balls are going out in the outfield in the form of line drive base hits.
So Truman Merrick will lead things off for the Pirates, one of the 6 seniors in the lineup for head coach Joe Roberts. Merrick, an all-Peach Belt and all-region outfielder last year for the Pirates, has also become the Pirates' closer as John Paul starts him off with a strike. He ranks second this year in the Peach Belt in saves. He's only given up 1 earned run all year long as the closer. And in 2 seasons with the Pirates, he is hitting a career .361 with 12 career triples. That is 6th all-time at Armstrong Atlantic. And as you mentioned yesterday, one of the rarities, he was a Peach Belt Conference pitcher and player of the week this week, or this year.
This year, right. And he's definitely one of the marquee players on the Pirate team. And we did check on the microscope, and he has a .41 earned run average.
2-1 pitch is down and away, and Merrick has a 3-1 count. Merrick does lead the Pirates in walks this season with 33. Ground ball to short. Joink up with it quickly, throws on to first, and there's 1 down. Nice job by Joink to quickly get rid of the ball. He had to wait on the second hop. We got the throw over plenty of time to get Merritt.
John Paul's last outing was against Georgia College last Sunday. Pitched 5 2/3 innings, gave up 6 runs, 5 earned, 9 hits. He walked 3 and struck out 2 in the loss.
Tyler Evans will step in now, another senior for the Pirates. Did not play a whole lot last year. He struggled with some shoulder problems, but this year he's been a fixture in the lineup and is hitting .411 this season, trying to become the first player in Armstrong history to hit .400 since David Harriman in 2002. Ground ball to short again. Joint this time has to move to his left, and then it's safe at first. So the speed of Tyler Evans beating out the hit to shortstop. And so he adds to that .411 average with that infield single.
Yeah, the ball was to Joink's left or right in the hole. He came up throwing, and Evans just beat it out.
So that will bring up the second baseman, Josh Wilson. Josh hitting .348, 7 home runs, tied for the team lead, 43 runs driven in. Line drive, that's no doubt about that hit as it goes through the hole into left field. And the Pirates have a couple of base runners on here in the first for Kenny Cale.
Kenny Cale went 3 for 6 yesterday. He had 3 walks and an RBI. And he had a triple to lead off or not to lead off, but in the first inning of the second game, off the center field fence.
So 3 batters that John Paul has faced, and all 3 have been hits towards the left side of the infield. And now Kenny Cale steps in, takes a pitch, and it pops out of the glove of the catcher Etchews, so a passed ball will move the runners up from first and second to second and third. And now Cale has an RBI opportunity with 2 runners in scoring position. Etchews normally a pretty solid defensive catcher. That's his 7th pass ball of the season, however.
Almost looked like he was crossed up on the signs and got the pitch that he didn't think he was going to get as it bounced off the heel of his glove.
And that's usually what happens. Either there's a change of speeds, there's a ground ball underneath the glove of Key into right field for a base hit. 2 runs are going to score, and the Pirates take the early 2-0 lead in the first inning. Of course, yesterday, the teams that went up 2-0 in the first inning ended up losing the game.
That's right. No 2-run lead. No 2-run lead was safe yesterday. That gives Kenny Cale 48 RBIs now in the season.
And he has really thrived since moving into the cleanup spot in the order. He had a week earlier this year where he had 15 RBIs in a single week.
Wow.
So Sean Hotzak steps in now, 4-year senior for the Pirates. Breaking ball from Paul drops in for a strike. Sean ranks second all-time in Armstrong Atlantic history, 52 doubles, fourth all-time in hits with 213, actually tied with Chris Bowen, so his next hit will put him into fourth place by himself. He is also ranked in the top 10 in 5 other offensive categories, including sacrifice hits, as there's a hit into right field for Sean Hotzak. So he's now by himself in fourth place in Armstrong history.
Hotzak's 7th single now of the weekend. He had 6 singles, 2 walks yesterday, and then on his last at bat finally made an out.
Yeah, he's only been retired once this whole weekend, and that was the final out of yesterday's 8-3 win by USC Aiken in Game 2 of the doubleheader. And we're going to get a visit to the mound from Aiken's pitching coach here.
Coach Connor coming to the mound. This is very reminiscent of John Paul's start last Sunday against Georgia College, where the batters in that game, similar to what the Pirates are doing, are hitting the ball just on the ground and finding the holes, hitting it solidly on the ground. Though he's not fooling anybody, and his pitches are being left out a little bit over the plate. So Adam Lovelace trotting down to the bullpen for the Pacers. Adam pitched a little bit yesterday, if I remember.
Yeah, he pitched. I believe he pitched an inning in game number 1 of the 9-7 win by the Pirates. But Paul will now face Bohannon, 3-year starter for the Pirates as an outfielder.
Yesterday's doubleheader took a toll on both bullpens, so there's not a whole lot of arms out there that are fresh.
Now you're going to see a lot of guys today, if it gets to that point that you saw yesterday in the 2 games between these 2 teams. Bohannon steps in, .348 career hitter for the Pirates. This year hitting .333, 2 homers, 4 triples, 25 RBIs. He hits one right up the middle, but Joink will field it, step on second, throw on to first, and it's a 6-3 double play to get the Pacers out of the inning. And Jacobson slams the ball down hard, emphatically, after the double play, trying to get his team fired up. We go to the second inning. Armstrong Atlantic leads 2-0. We move to the top of the second inning. Armstrong Atlantic leads USC Aiken 2-0 in this critical 3rd game of this Peach Belt Conference Series, each team with 1 win. Ross Partee will face designated hitter Chris Sheehan leading off the second inning. First pitch to him drops outside for a ball. Sheehan .385 average, 12 home runs, 61 runs driven in, slugging .661. And Partee falls behind Sheehan here 2-0.
Yesterday, Sheehan was 5 for 7 with a home run and 4 RBIs. And just like Hotzek had a big RBI week. There was a week that Sheehan had 12 RBIs.
Ground ball to short, though. Josh Dallas makes a nice play on the ball and throws on to first to retire Sheehan for the first out.
Bring Ken Rayburn to the plate for the Pacers. He's batting .324 in the year, 5 homers and 28 RBIs.
Rayburn, one of several Pacer players yesterday's doubleheader, able to knock a double. And that was really the story yesterday in the doubleheader, as there's one down the right field line. However, it curves and hits foul for strike one. In that first game for the Pirates, Armstrong Atlantic had all singles but one hit. And that was a 3-run home run by Truman Merrick. And then USC Aiken getting several extra base hits in both games of the doubleheader. A couple of home runs and several doubles.
Right, the doubles yesterday for the Pacers, there were quite a few doubles down the right field line, almost where Rayburn hit this ball.
The 0-1 pitch from Partee. Down low, taken for a ball. And the count moves to 1-1.
Yeah, Rayburn's double was his only hit yesterday, as he went 1 for 8 in the doubleheader.
1-1 pitch, bounces in for a ball, makes it 2-1. The only other action other than the doubleheaders with Georgia College and Columbus State yesterday, North Georgia defeated Georgia Southwestern 7-4. It's two newest members of the Peach Bowl Conference. They'll wrap up their series with a doubleheader today. And then in non-conference action, UNC Pembroke and Pfeiffer split a doubleheader. Pfeiffer won game number 1, 10-3. UNC Pembroke won game number 2, 8-6. After getting the first strike on Rayburn, Partee's fallen behind 3-1. And there is a strike 2 on the outside part of the plate, so the count runs full.
You saw the Pfeiffer Falcons down at Aiken earlier this week, and they have a couple of fine freshman starting pitchers on their team.
The 3-2 pitch from Partee popped up, very shallow right field. This is going to drop for a base hit. Evans fields it quickly, so Rayburn has to hold at first, but another one of those bloop hits to the right side of the field that we've seen from USC Aiken.
Yeah, just fisted to the right side by Rayburn. Evans made a very nice play as he was able to pick the ball up on the first hop and kept Rayburn at first base.
That will bring up the catcher Josh Etchews. Started the first game for USC Aiken yesterday, then gave way to Scherer, who caught game 2. On the year, Etchews 268 average, no home runs, 25 runs driven in. And again, another player who had a double yesterday.
Right.
Big swing and a miss, though, on the off-speed pitch from Partee, and Partee gets ahead 0-1.
If you notice, only Sheehan, Jacobson, and Rayburn are the only Pacer starters that have home runs on this season. And that and a couple of the subs have the other home runs, but Sheehan and Jacobson have over 2/3 of the Pacers' homers.
31 home runs as a team for the Pacers. 22 of those 31 from those two players, Sheehan and Jacobson, the 3 and 4 hitters in the order. Changeup catches the outside corner, and Partee gets ahead of Etchews here 0-2. Contrast that to the Pirates, where 29 home runs for a team, but you have 9 different players have at least 1 home run.
If you notice, the Pacers have 118 doubles. They're much more of a doubles team than a home run hitting team.
0-2 pitch well outside, taken for a ball. Ken Rayburn on at first. 1 down. We are in the top of the second inning. Armstrong Atlantic leading it 2-0.
American right field not expecting Etchews to pull the ball.
Now, he's played the Aiken hitters pretty much to left entire weekend. Even the big power hitting Chris Sheehan, he didn't really play him down the line much at all. 1-2 pitch from Partee, fouled back to the screen. Well, this baseball game for the Pirates, the only athletic activity on the field today, but later on tonight we'll have a little bit of pomp and circumstance as Armstrong Atlantic hosts its annual ASU Athletics Awards Banquet. All the athletic teams honored will have a fine meal over at the new Armstrong Center, a highlight video chronicling the teams as there is a fly ball to deep center field, but Mark Noble will catch it just shy of the warning track for out number 2. And then each of the coaches will say a few words and hand out some awards.
Pacers Athletic Banquet is this Wednesday, and then we're going to have it in the new Convocation Center on the floor, and the theme is a luau.
Oh, boy.
We're buying Hawaiian shirts this weekend.
Well, 2 down in the inning for the Pacers, and Zach Cooper, the center fielder, steps in. Cooper, a tale of 2 different games for him. He was 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts in Game 1, but had 2 doubles in Game number 2 yesterday. Takes a first pitch for a strike.
He had 2 doubles and 1 fence crash yesterday in the second game, as the triple in the first inning by Kenny Cale was to dead center, and Cooper was able to find out that it is 390 feet to the center field fence.
And the coincidence being there, he was 0 for 5 before he crashed into the fence, and he was 2 for 3 after crashing into the fence. So maybe that's the spark he needed. Not exactly the painless way to get your hitting stroke going, but
knocked the cobwebs out a little bit.
1-1 pitch from Partee upcoming. Runner bluffs, and the pitch is high, taken for a ball, and it's 2-1.
Partee seems to be working up and down and in and out of the strike zone and keeping the ball around the strike zone. Pacers have hit a couple of hard hits off of him. Etchews to the warning track in center, and Jacobson ended the first inning with a 335-foot fly ball right in front of the 340 mark down the left field line.
Rayburn chased back to the bag on a throw by Partee. Not a huge threat to steal, just 3 of 4 on the season. The 2-1 pitch from Partee is a strike, and it's 2-2.
See Cooper's 4 strikeouts in the first game yesterday. 3 of them were looking, and the other one when he was trying to sacrifice bunt.
Two balls, 2 strikes. The pitch from Partee is grounded to second. Wilson will flip to Josh Dallas at second, and that retires the side. The Pacers get a base hit but nothing else. We go to the bottom of the second inning. It's 2-0 Pirates.
I have no idea.
We move to the bottom of the second inning. Armstrong Atlantic leading USC Aiken 2-0. It'll be the bottom third of the order for the Pirates. Facing left-hander John Paul here in the second. Designated hitter Eric Hudson looks at a first pitch ball. Hudson getting the start today, left-hander against left-hander, mostly because of the inability by Joey Davis yesterday to take advantage of starts against left-handers. He was 0 for 5 before he was lifted. So Hudson steps in and takes another pitch high for a ball, making it 2-0.
I think also the fact that John Paul is not quite a hard of thrower as either Scott Wendless or Dustin Tyra will give him a better chance of throwing and batting against John Paul.
Hudson, 306 average on the season, no homers, 18 runs driven in. He's has a great strikeout to walk ratio. He has walked 19 times and struck out just 8 in 121 at-bats. He actually ranks among the nation's leaders in the toughest to strike out category. A strike at the knees, though, on a 3-0 pitch makes it 3-1.
Hudson almost on his way to first base.
Yeah, that would have been a little too easy. And another strike from Paul brings the count to 3-2. The 3-2 pitch is in the dirt, and Hudson draws a leadoff walk to begin the bottom of the second inning.
Leadoff walks are always the thing that makes pitching coaches go gray. Usually about half of your batters who take leadoff walks wind up scoring.
So that brings up Mark Noble, the senior center fielder for the Pirates. 2 years for Armstrong Atlantic. He has compiled a career .392 average. As there's a ground ball right back to the pitcher. Paul throws to second for one, on to first. It is a 1-6-3 double play, and the second double play turned by the Pacers this afternoon.
Second double play by the Pacers, and John Paul that's his forte, is when he gets that sinker going. A lot of balls beaten into the ground. And not a good way for Noble to start the day, and was hoping they'll probably erase yesterday's memory of making the last out with the bases loaded twice.
That brings up the shortstop, Josh Dallas. Another left-handed hitter for the Pirates. Looks at the first pitch low for ball one. Dallas has been the Pirates' starting shortstop for the last 2 years, hitting .304 in his career with 57 runs driven in. Takes another pitch low for a 2-0 count. Dallas has also stolen 27 bases in his 2-year career for the Pirates. 2-0 pitch is upstairs, and Paul falls behind here 3-0.
Dallas was 2 for 6 yesterday with a pair of RBIs.
And the 3-0 pitch is a strike.
Took a while for the umpire to call that one a strike. Don't know if he was just down on his knee and took a moment to get up, or if he was hesitant.
And another pitch is a strike, and it's now a full count on Dallas. So the 3-2 pitch, that is low, and Dallas draws a walk. Second walk of the inning for Paul. But the double play helped him out the first time. Now Truman Merrick will step to the plate. Interesting here, you've got 4 consecutive left-handed hitters for the Pirates with the bottom third in the order, and then Truman Merrick leading off the top of the lineup. Merrick grounded out to short his first time up. Throw over to first, though, by Paul. Dallas gets back to the bag. Paul with 7 pickoffs leads the Pacer team. Foul ball on the first pitch from Paul, though, by Truman Merrick.
Pirates will see a lot better pickoff move from John Paul than they saw from Scott Wanless or Dustin Tyler yesterday. The other Pacer pitcher with a really good pickoff move is the winner from yesterday, Bo Hill.
Ground ball into right field. That is a base hit. Dallas did a nice job. He had to hop out of the way of the ball as it came towards him. So the Pirates with 2 runners on for the second consecutive inning. And it brings up Tyler Evans, who hit an infield single and scored in inning number 1.
You know, like you had mentioned before, Chad, the double play has been key in this inning. Is with 2 walks and a single, John Paul can retire Tyler Evans. He can get out of the inning unscathed.
Paul's first pitch to Evans, lined up the middle. That's going to get through for a base hit. Rounding third and heading home is Dallas. The throw of the plate will be cut off by the first baseman, Jacobson. So a 2-out RBI for Tyler Evans. He continues to scorch the ball. 2 hits today. 5 hits on the weekend, and the Pirates now lead at 3-0.
His .411 average is probably up closer to .415 now.
That brings up Josh Wilson, who singled and scored in the first inning. Runners on first and second. Still 2 out, though, so Paul a pitch away from getting out of the jam. And the first pitch to Wilson is upstairs for ball one.
The two-out RBI is big. There were a lot of big two-out situations in the doubleheader yesterday where players were left stranded, and two-out RBIs are key and will be probably key in this game.
Big swing and a miss. Paul took something off of that pitch, and it's now a 1-1 count on Wilson. Truman Merrick leads away from second base. Tyler Evans from first. Good speed for the Pirates, but with 2 outs, don't expect them to move the runners. There's a fly ball into left center field. That looks like it's going to drop, and that's going to be off the wall. 2 runs will score, and Wilson will pull up into second base with a 2 RBI double. And that's the first extra base hit for the Pirates in this game, and it's now 5-0, and that will get some activity back up in the bullpen for USC Aiken. As, to be honest, Paul just has not fooled anybody here this afternoon. 7 hits through an inning and 2/3.
And John Paul is leaving his pitches up over the plate and a little bit over the fat part of the plate. And that particular one, Wilson got a little bit under it. Otherwise, he might have hit it out of the park.
So that brings up Kenny Cale, who drove in a pair of runs with a single his first time up. He has a runner on second. 3 runs in the inning for the Pirates. Paul's first pitch to him is popped foul down the first base side for strike 1. Loveless not wasting much time. He's getting ready in a hurry down there in the bullpen.
I think we have the pitchers for the Pacers on a short lease again today.
Pitch upstairs taken for a ball, making it 1-1.
If the Pacers were to lose this game, they would wind up being tied with Upstate with 15 losses. Upstate, having swept the Pacers earlier in the season, would get the higher seed in the tournament and potentially put the Pacers in a situation where they would be having to face Georgia College in the first round of the tournament. Hence the importance of this game.
Absolutely. Not only that, but a win here would guarantee they finish above 500, with Armstrong Atlantic still having a series left, meaning they could lock up that 4th spot, and Armstrong Atlantic will be playing for that same thing. They don't want to face Georgia College in that first spot in the Peach Belt tournament. Pitch inside to Cale makes it a 3-1 count now on the Pirates' third baseman.
The 4th spot is actually very important in the tournament because Columbus State and Georgia College, holding the number 1 and 2 positions, are definitely just a notch above the other teams in the conference.
There has been some separation pretty much since Aiken kind of hit their free fall early in the season. It was Georgia College and Aiken to begin the year as Kenny Cale draws a walk. Then when Aiken kind of hit their free fall, Columbus State stepped up, swept a couple of series, and then it was just a two-team race down towards the end for the Peach Belt title.
Exactly. It turned out that Columbus State losing 2 out of 3 this past weekend. Or actually, no, they only lost 1 out of the 3.
Both teams took 2 out of 3 from their series, but Georgia College went into the weekend a game ahead of Columbus State. Columbus needed to sweep in order to earn a share of the title. Sean Hotzak steps in now, swings and misses at the first pitch from John Paul. 2 on, 2 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Hotzak now with 214 career hits. Takes a pitch low. This year, Hotzak is tied for the team lead in home runs and has set a career high with 7. He's also set a career high with RBIs with 52 that leads the Pirates and also ranks among the Peach Belt leaders. Pitch way outside from Paul.
John Paul having trouble finding the plate right now. He's walked already 3 in this inning, and he's given up another 3 hits.
And the inning could be worse if it wasn't for that 1-6-3 double play that Paul was able to turn early in the inning. 2-1 pitch, grounded down the line, but a nice play by the third baseman, Rayburn. Rayburn able to get up and step on the bag at third to retire the side. But Armstrong Atlantic plates 3. We go to the top of the third inning. It's 5-0 Pirates. We move to the top of the third inning. Armstrong Atlantic leading USC Aiken 5-0. Mark Joink, the shortstop, leads things off for the Pacers against Ross Partee. Joink on the year hitting .285, no homers, 26 runs driven in. Takes a pitch upstairs for ball one.
Joink went 1 for 7 yesterday, 0 for 3 in the second game, but he had 2 RBIs.
Off-speed pitch is over for a strike. And it looks like Lovelace is ready if need be. It'll be interesting to see if Paul answers the bell in the bottom of the third inning after giving up 7 hits and 5 runs in 2 innings. Foul ball down the first base side over towards the incoming Lovelace. Nice play by Spivey to field the ball.
The battery was coming in from the pen. Joink hit the ball right at him.
1-2 pitch is high. Joink held up on his swing, and it's now 2-2.
Partee's job right now is to just keep the ball around the plate, let his fielders field, and get to the late innings of the game.
Called strike 3 on the breaking ball. Joink out on strikes. That's the first strikeout for either pitcher today. And it comes here in the top of the third inning, and it brings up the second baseman, Matt Key. Key got the start in Game 1 yesterday, came in defensively in Game 2 yesterday. He is hitting .243 on the year. This is just his 10th start of the season, but as you said yesterday, Joe, he's kind of caught Kenny Thomas's eye with some good play here late, getting some starts.
Right, he's come in defensively, made some fairly good plays. He's a good base runner, and his bat has come alive in the last few games, and he had a game-winning RBI earlier in the week.
Partee starts him off with a couple of pitches outside the strike zone. Key, a left-handed batter against the right-hander Partee. Takes a strike at the letters, and it's 2-1.
Key played his high school ball just outside of Aiken at Silver Bluff, and there was the most valuable player on their team.
Pitch upstairs makes it 3-0. A lot of Georgia products on head coach Kenny Thomas's Aiken squad. Of course, Aiken right at the border between Augusta and Aiken, so Coach Thomas able to pull a lot of Georgia talent away from the Georgia schools to come play for him at USC Aiken.
And quite a few players from the Augusta area, particularly from Greenbrier and Evans High School.
The 3-2 pitch from Partee is swung on and missed, strike 3. And Partee, who did not get a strikeout in the first 2 innings, all of a sudden strikes out the first 2 hitters here in the third, and we'll go back to the top of the order for Darryl Pui.
You got Joink with a curveball looking and just blew the fastball up in the eyes past Key.
Pui led off the game with a single, but was stranded, or actually was erased trying to steal by Sean Hotzak with 1 out. Partee's first pitch to him drops in there for a strike. Head coach Kenny Thomas not averse to having former Armstrong Atlantic players on his squad as well. A couple have played for him over the years, and Pui gets hit in the helmet. That's the second time we've seen a player get hit by a pitch in the helmet, and the third time we've seen a player get hit in the helmet after the stolen base by Etchews. So if the NCAA need to make a video showing why players wear helmets, this weekend series would be textbook.
The complete instructional video as to why you wear protective garments.
So Pui on at first, 2 out hit batsman, and it brings up Ben Tankersley, who flew out to center field his first time up. First pitch to him, lifted into center field. That's dropping fast, but on the run is Noble, and he makes the fine one-handed grab to retire the side. Noble with his second great catch this weekend out in center field, and we will go to the bottom of the third inning with Armstrong Atlantic leading at 5-0. Chad Jackson with Joe Kucharski back with you here at Pirate Field. Armstrong Atlantic leading at 5-0, Game 3 of this Peach Bowl Conference Series. Also Senior Day here at Pirate Field. Brad Bohannon, a senior left fielder, leads things off for the Pirates against John Paul, who's out to start the third inning. First pitch to Bohannon. He shortens the bunt and takes it low for ball 1.
A little bit surprising that John Paul came back out. So it looked like Adam Lovelace was ready to come in the game in between the innings.
Line drive into right field, that's a base hit. So the Pirates get the leadoff runner on for the second straight inning, and immediately heading back down to the pen is Lovelace.
Lovelace's stats already is about 3 or 4 innings down in the pen.
He's run as much back and forth from the bullpen to the dugout as a pitcher normally runs during the week. That brings up the designated hitter Eric Hudson. Drew a walk, but was erased on a double play his first time up. Eight hits now for the Pirates in the contest. And Paul paying special attention to Bohannon over at first with a couple of throws over. Now a bunt attempt by Hudson, but he misses the pitch. So it's strike 1. Hudson has not been called upon to bunt much this year. Just 1 sacrifice hit. No, 2 sacrifice hits. Breaking ball, that stays high. So Hudson pulled the bat back, and it's a 1-1 count.
Bohannon's 8 for 11 in stolen bases this year, and that while John Paul's keeping special eye on him.
Throw over to first again. Bohannon, probably the fastest, just pure speed player on the Pirates squad. He was a redshirt freshman quarterback at the Naval Academy before playing junior college ball and then coming to the Pirates. Bunt here by Hudson. It's a good play, and Paul is going to have to pick it up and not make a throw. It didn't take as high of a bounce off the grass as he thought it did, and he kind of slipped back when it didn't bounce up as high as he wanted, so it's a bunt single by Hudson.
The ball looked like it had a lot of backspin on it, and when it hit the grass after the bounce off of near the plate, it seemed to actually come back toward home plate and bounced just a couple inches off the ground, and by that time no one could make a play.
Well, that brings up Mark Noble, and Noble takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Mark was in this situation twice yesterday with runners on first and second, and both times tried to bunt to advance the runners, and the Pacers were able to cut down the lead runner at third. So Noble swinging away, at least it appears right now. Swings, hits 1 to first. This will get the job done as the first baseman Jacobson tags Noble out. The hit handcuffed him a bit. He wanted to go to second to try and turn the 3-6-3 double play, but just could not do it. So it's a swinging bunt, a swinging sacrifice, even though you won't get credit for it. And the Pirates have runners in scoring position.
Good productive out for Noble. It was a fairly hard hit grounder that did handcuff Jacobson, and I think he took the better part of valor there to make sure he got an out.
Infield comes in for USC Aiken with runners on second and third and just 1 out. Josh Dallas at the plate. First pitch to him is a breaking ball that drops in for strike 1. Dallas drew a walk and scored in inning number 2.
Pirates about ready to put numbers up in every inning so far this game.
Another breaking ball, nice block by Etchus behind the plate, and it makes the count 1-1.
Playing the infield in at a 5-0 game shows you the importance that Kenny Thomas is putting in on this game.
He definitely doesn't want it to get any more out of hand in the early going. There's still a lot of baseball left to play, though. 1-1 pitch, that drops low for a ball, and it's 2-1.
Temperature in the mid to upper 80s. No, the starters will probably not finish, despite the fact that John Paul leads the conference in complete games.
Lovelace has done throwing in the bullpen. He must be ready. He's just watching the action down there now. The 2-1 pitch from Paul is fouled off the ankle of Dallas. He'll take a short little circuit around the foul territory and try and shake it off. But the count goes to 2-2.
Dallas not wearing the little shin guard that a lot of the batters are sporting these days.
Especially the left-handed hitters. You see that a lot on the left-handed hitters protecting that front ankle. 2-2 pitch hits him. So Josh Dallas gets hit by a pitch, and that loads the bases for Truman Merrick, who is 1 for 2 today, singled and scored his last time up.
Pacer infield in at the corners, double play depth up the middle, and Coach Kenny Thomas is coming out of the dugout. Coach Thomas comes out, that usually means it's the end for the pitcher.
So we'll take a short break and come back. You're listening to Pirate Baseball. So the new pitcher for USC Aiken is right-hander Adam Lovelace, making his second appearance this weekend. Pitched effectively in his first appearance yesterday, retired both batters he faced.
Struck out Josh Wilson, got Mark Noble to hit a grounder to second.
But he's in a tough spot here with the bases loaded, 1 out, and Truman Merrick at the plate. First pitch to Merrick is low for ball 1. John Paul goes 2 1/3 innings, gives up 5 runs, 9 hits, walked 3, hit a guy, and will stand to take the loss unless the Pacers can come back from this deficit.
John Paul's also responsible for all the men on base.
Pitch outside, though, and Lovelace 1 ball away from walking in a run, as he has been nowhere close with his pitches since coming into the game. The 3-0 pitch is a strike at the knees, and it's 3-1. Brad Bohannon's on at third, Eric Hudson on at second, and Josh Dallas on at first for the Pirates. The 3-1 pitch to Merritt, grounded to second. They'll go to short for 1, on to first, not in time to get the double play, so the fielder's choice will drive in a run. Lovelace almost got the double play ball he wanted, but credit the speed of Merritt getting down the line. That was a very tough double play to turn, because Key was actually turned when he fielded the ball.
Right, Key was in the hole between first and second, turned to throw a joint. It was a good turn, but Merrick's speed was just too much to get to the double play.
So that makes the score 6-0, and the hot-hitting Tyler Evans now at the plate with 2 singles, including an RBI his last time up. He takes a strike on the inside part of the plate from Lovelace, and it's 0-1.
Evans had the 2-out single for an RBI in the second, which was then followed by Josh Wilson's 2-out, 2 RBI double.
Ground ball off the leg of the pitcher. That's going to be an infield single and an RBI. Lovelace took one off of his plant leg. Rayburn tried to barehand it to try and throw out Evans, but that would have been a very tough play for him to make. But a third hit in the game for Evans, and it's now 7-0.
Bringing up Josh Wilson to the plate, who's 2 for 2.
Wilson hit a 2-run double his last time up off the left center field fence, about halfway up. Takes a pitch in the dirt, blocked by Etchews, preventing the runners from advancing. Truman Merrick on at second, and Tyler Evans on at first. 2 outs in the inning, but an RBI fielder's choice and a ground out. There's a ground ball to short. Joint able to get the force out at second, and that will retire the side, but Armstrong Atlantic puts up a couple more. We go to the top of the 4th inning with the Pirates leading at 7-0.
We move to the top of the 4th here at Pirate Field. Pirates lead 7-0 as the USC Aiken Pacers have dug themselves quite a hole. John Paul's finished pitching line was 2 1/3 innings. He allowed all 7 runs with 9 hits, 3 walks, and a hit batsman. Leading off is Chad Jacobson for the Pacers. Chad Jacobson, first time up, hit a 335-foot fly ball that was caught right in front of the 340 mark down the left field line. First pitch from Partee was a strike. Jacobson swinging at the curveball. Partee enjoying the comfort of a 7-run lead. Next pitch is just a little bit wide, and the count is even now, 1-1 on Jacobson. This is a point where if you're the Pacer offense, you need to think about chipping away a run at a time. Next pitch in the dirt, 2-1.
Of course, we saw yesterday Vete Rivers looked pretty much in control for 3 innings in Game 2, but the Pacers' 4th and 5th innings able to touch Rivers up for 7 runs, go on to the 8-3 win.
Pitch is outside again. Count runs to 3-1 on Jacobson. Jacobson, the conference leader in RBIs with 71. Fastball fouled back behind the stands, and the count is full at 3-2. Bright sunny day here at Pirate Field. Temperature in the mid-80s. A number of umbrellas out in the grandstands to shade folks from the sun who enjoyed a lot of sun yesterday. And the 3-2 pitch is low, and Jacobson walks to lead off the 4th, and not exactly what you'd want to do when you have a 7-run lead.
No, though, it's there's 2 hitters that you don't mind walking if you're the Pirates. It is the 3rd and 4th hitters in the order, Jacobson and Sheehan, the 2 big power hitters. As you told us earlier, they account for about 80% of the home runs hit by the Pacers this season.
All right, bringing up Chris Sheehan has stepped into the box. He has 12 homers and 61 RBIs on the season. First pitch from the stretch is a floater that's a little bit high. The count is 1-0 on Sheehan. And you're right, Chad, you don't want to necessarily let the Pacers get a couple of runs quickly via the home run and challenge these two power hitters, but you also don't want to set up the potential of a big inning. Sheehan fouls the next one over our head. Count is 1-1. Activity in the Pacer bullpen. It's the birthday boy, Edwin Keeler.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be kind of a team effort for the Pacer bullpen from here on out, as Lovelace pitched pretty effectively that last inning, gave up just a hard hit ball that took a carom off of his leg, but he was able to get a couple other ground balls.
Lovelace did what we were expecting to get done from him, is to quell the rally. Sheehan takes a strike. It's one of the things this year. Sheehan has become a much more patient hitter and doesn't swing wildly, although he certainly doesn't get cheated when he swings. Sheehan nubs one down the first base line. Tyler Evans will beat him to the bag. Jacobson will go to second base, and we have one out and a runner on second for the third baseman, Ken Rayburn.
Smart play there, 7-run lead. You don't want to try and get cute, try and convert that 3-6-3 double play. Just get the sure out, concede the runner to second base. Outs are what you want now if you're the Pirates.
Absolutely. Keeps you out of the big inning. If Rayburn or Etchus is able to bring Jacobson home, that's fine. And what it does do is keep the big inning from going on. Rayburn singled his first time down the right field line and then was erased in the fielder's choice. First pitch over the outside corner for a strike. Partee still working the ball in and out and up and down and keeping the Pacer hitters from really hitting the ball hard. From the stretch. Pitch is high. And it's 1-1. Partee taking a look at Jacobson at second base. Not exactly sure why Jacobson is not a threat to steal. He's probably only beating Sheehan and Etchus in steals.
Just a good habit to have, I guess.
Pitch on the outside corner. Called strike 2, and Rayburn in the hole, 1-2. Etchus is on deck. Etchus hit a ball to the warning track his last time up.
We talked a little bit about the 6 seniors who were in the starting lineup for the Pirates. Pirates with 4 other players playing in their final games here at Pirate Field today. Veit Rivers, yesterday's Game 2 starter, making his final appearance.
Rayburn punches the ball to third base, and it's fair, and they're holding the ball and eating the ball right there as Kenny Cale it was a kind of a chopper that was going down the line, and Cale was able to knock it down, keep the extra base hit from happening.
Yeah, he had to dive to grab the ball. Had he been able to field it still on his feet, he might have had a chance to throw out the runner at first, but as is another smart play in the infield, just keeping that ball, not throwing a ball away or letting it get past you.
The other good thing is Jacobson is still at second base, and it puts the double play in order with Josh Etchus, the hitter. The Pacer catcher is hitting .268 on the season with 25 RBI.
Here the Pirates would love to get a double play ball to get out of the inning. The Pacers have been able to do that several times this weekend. I don't think the Pirates have turned a double play yet this weekend.
Don't believe so. The first pitch to Etchus was just inside and low for ball 1.
The other Pirate seniors, senior Jeremy Horst, we saw yesterday briefly making his final weekend appearance, and then senior Jacob Roberson, who is battling a bit of an Achilles problem, will not pitch this weekend. And then an interesting story, Joe, junior Aaron Johnson has pitched 2 years for the Pirates. He's a part of the Georgia Tech engineering program here at Armstrong. Next year he will be in his senior year, and he will be gone like the entire week for his classes at Georgia Tech. So it'd be a situation where he could only pitch during the weekends. So Johnson electing to concentrate on his academics, an admirable choice in my opinion, and he will graduate next year with a civil engineering degree from Georgia Tech and Armstrong Atlantic.
Absolutely admirable, engineering a difficult subject and a difficult program to succeed in, and a lot of academic work in there, so congratulations to Aaron on that effort. Count has run to 2-1, and Hotzek has come out to talk to Partee. The common theme of get the ball over, throw strikes. Ready for play again as Etchews gets back in the box. Partee at the stretch. Delivers. Etchews hits it to third. They're going around the horn to second. And over to first, and they punch him out at first for the double play. A 5-4-3 around the horn. Pitcher's best friend ends the top of the fourth. No runs for the Pacers, and it's still 7-0 Pirates. Back here at Pirate Field, we move to the last of the fourth, and as typically happens, the player who makes an outstanding play in the field leads off the next inning. Kenny Cale, the third baseman, who made a fine job of diving and stopping an extra base hit down the third base line, and then turning the double play around the horn to end the top of the fourth, leads off. He's reached on both a single and a walk. Lovelace's first pitch.
Just a bit inside.
Just a bit inside, all the way back to the screen. Sorry for the confusion. I wasn't sure what we saw there.
Just a little bit too inside. Etchews had not set up that far in.
Next pitch is over the outside half of the plate, and the count is 1-1. Lovelace came in and retired two of the three batters he faced, allowing the single only off of his leg. The next pitch is back inside again. Cale seeing two inside and one outside for a 2-1 count.
We spent a lot of time talking about the seniors today, but Pirates have a few talented youngsters, including Cale, a redshirt sophomore who played 1 year of junior college ball before coming back to his hometown of Savannah to play for the Pirates this season.
Cale draws the leadoff walk. All the pitches inside. Edwin Keeler gets up in the bullpen. Also going down to the bullpen for the Pacers is number 17, Alex Franklin, and he's just going to be the guard.
Going to be protection.
And then Sean Hotzek comes to the plate. Hotzek singled and then was retired on a fielder's choice, which was a fine play by Kenny Rayburn, the third baseman, who made a diving stop. First pitch to him is inside. And Lovelace seems to have a problem missing inside.
Yeah, he definitely wants to work inside on the right-handed hitters, but he's only been able to throw that pitch once so far for a strike here in this inning.
And it's 2-0 now. And Pacers down by 7 runs. Can't afford to get down by much more. Hotzek swings at one over the plate, takes a foul tip.
Catcher interference. They're going to call catcher interference on Etchews here, so Kale will move from first to second. And there will be no pitch, so it will remain a 2-0 count. And that's not a call you see often, but as we said yesterday, we've seen almost a little bit of everything, so why not add a little catcher's interference to the mix?
And that, we need a balk yet in this weekend, and we'll get one of those.
Trying to remember where the catchers are.
I think that runs as an error on the catcher. Now the pitch inside makes it 3-0. Etchews trots out to the mound. He'll talk to Lovelace. I honestly didn't even see Kenny Kale breaking on the pitch, so I'm not quite sure why Etchews was in a hurry.
It's any time that mitt comes in contact with the bat on a normal swing, they will call catcher's interference.
Typically when you see that is often when a runner's trying to steal and the catcher's trying to get a jump on the throw. But
and I wonder if because Lovelace has been missing inside so much, it forced Etchews to try and crowd up a little bit behind the plate to try and give Lovelace a better target that resulted in that call.
Could very well be. Finally a strike on the inside corner. Runs the count to 3-1. Hotzek with 7 hits out of 9 at-bats this weekend. And he reaches base again with a walk. And there are 2 on and nobody out, both via the walk. And Coach Kenny Thomas coming out of the dugout, most assuredly probably with the hook.
Well, again, Armstrong Atlantic will head to Dahlonega, Georgia next weekend to take on North Georgia College and State University, an 8 o'clock prime time affair on Friday against the Saints, and then a doubleheader on Saturday against the Saints. USC Aiken will play the waiting game. They will have a week off before they head to the Peach Belt Conference Tournament, as we are going to have a pitching change here.
Right, the freshman and the birthday boy, Edwin Keeler, coming in for the Pacers. And we'll take this pitching break with you and be back in a moment. Back here at Pirate Field, the new Pacer pitcher is the freshman from Batesburg, South Carolina, Edwin Keeler. He has a 2-1 record on the season with a 3.67 earned run average. He's made 11 appearances. He started 1 game, thrown 27 innings, and opponents are hitting .260 against him. First batter he faces is Brad Bohannon, who squared the bunt and took a ball. The pitching line on Lovelace was 2/3 of an inning pitch. He had to hit the ball that was hit off his leg, and he walked 2. He's also responsible for the 2 fellows that he walked who are on the bases now. Keeler is high and away, and now it's 2-0 to Bohannon.
Bohannon 1 for 2 today, singled his last time up, and then scored a run. Showed bunt in the first at-bat, but that second pitch was so high he didn't even shorten. Now he's swinging away, though, and swings and misses.
Count now runs to 2-1.
Sometimes it's the hardest pitcher to try and bunt against is a pitcher who's kind of lost that view of the strike zone. Easiest pitch to hit is just right over the plate. If you have to chase a pitch high or low to try and bunt it, usually you can't make good solid contact on it.
And also being the first time that Bohannon has seen Keeler pitch, being the freshman, and at the next pitch was on the inside corner, and the count is even at 2-2, and I'm sure we'll see Bohannon swing away now. He does, and fouls back a changeup. Back to the screen. Eric Hudson retrieves the foul ball.
Kenny Kale on at second, Sean Hotzek on at first. They both reached on walks from departed reliever Adam Lovelace as we are in the fourth inning here, and Aiken's already had to bring on pitcher number 3.
Right, and control has been an issue for the Pacer pitchers. They've issued 5 walks, they've hit a batter, and given up a number of singles. Oh, a pitch on the inside corner gets Bohannon for called strike 3. Bohannon not exactly pleased with the call, but he gets back to the dugout, and Eric Hudson, the designated hitter, comes to the plate.
First strikeout for a Pacer pitcher today. And that's a big one because now a double play ball gets you out of the inning.
And Keeler, not typically a strikeout pitcher, only 18 strikeouts in 27 innings pitched. His first pitch to Eric Hudson is a curveball down and away for ball 1. Keeler looking for the double play ball. Hudson looking for another hit. And pitch is high and tight. The count goes to 2-0. We've seen a lot of 2-0 and 3-0 counts today with the Pacer pitchers. Keeler from the stretch again. Delivers high and tight, and the count runs to 3-0. Hudson one pitch away from drawing a walk and loading the bases. Keeler looks back at second. Throws one over the inside half of the plate for strike 1. Hudson was taking all the way. Hudson with a .306 average and 18 RBI on the season. Next pitch from Keeler is low and inside, and the bases are loaded via the 3 free passes that have showed up. And Mark Noble, the center fielder, comes to the plate.
Pirates yet to make contact in this inning. 3 walks and a caught-looking strikeout.
And Noble is 0 for 2 in this game. He hit a grounder to the first baseman his last time up in the last inning and hit into a double play in the second inning. Keeler from the stretch. Delivers a strike. It's the first batter that the Pacer pitchers have got ahead in this inning. And that 0-1 now. We've got Kale on third, Hotzek on second, and Hudson on first. Oh, a curveball drops over the inside half of the plate, and it's 0-2.
That surprised Noble. He didn't expect to see a pitch that started out that high drop in for a strike.
And it had a big arc on it, a 12-6 style curveball. Keeler delivers in the dirt.
Nice block by Etchews there on a pitch in the dirt again. An 0-2 pitcher just trying to waste away, and if it's in the dirt, that can result in wild pitches from time to time.
Both catchers, both Hotzek and Etchews, have done an excellent job this weekend of blocking the pitches in the dirt. There's a ball looped down the left field line, and it's going to drop just foul in front of Ben Tankersley and Kenny Rayburn running out. The pitch was a off-speed pitch outside, and Noble just flicked his bat and was able to foul it off. Keeler made a fine pitch. Noble with a fine fight off of the good pitch to stay alive at the plate.
Pretty much all of Noble's hits to the opposite field come on 2-strike counts when he's just shortening the bat and just throwing it out at the outside pitch. Normally he sprays the ball up the middle and even will pull a little bit, but that time he's just trying to make contact.
Keeler is set again at the mound. Delivers. And he hits him.
RBI the hard way.
Now the hit by pitch RBI for Mark Noble makes the score 8-0. Still leaves the bases loaded, and the shortstop Josh Dallas comes to the plate. And
we call that the Homer Simpson RBI from the infamous Simpsons softball episode where he wins the game, being hit by a pitch with the bases loaded.
Dallas has reached base twice. He's walked once, and he's also been hit. Keeler delivers. The pitch is low and inside for ball one.
And that's also maddening for a coach, is a two-strike pitch where you hit a batter when it's 1-2. Full count, okay, but when it's 1-2 and you hit a guy, that's just...
There's a ground ball that's going to get by Jacobson in the right field. It's in the hole. And it'll plate one. And the bases will still be loaded. Dallas with a single and an RBI. He plates Hotzak, making it 9-0. And we have flipped the order to the top of the order to Truman Merrick. And Merrick is 1 for 3 right now for the day with an RBI, and the bases are still full of Pirates.
And another pitcher down in the bullpen for USC Aiken, a tall right-hander.
That's Gary Lee, yesterday's first game loser. Keeler has come in and has not retired either batter that he has faced. First pitch is a strike.
Lee gave up the 3-run home run to Truman Merrick in Game 1 yesterday in the 8th inning. Gave up all 4 runs in that 8th frame, resulting in the 9-7 win by Armstrong Atlantic.
Keeler back from the stretch. Delivers again. Merrick with a base hit through the hole. 1 run will score. Coming around third with the throw to the plate. And they've got Noble at the plate. As Noble trying to score, Coach Roberts sending the runner, trying to put another run on, but a fine throw from Darryl Pooey in right field, and a good tag by Josh Etchews caught Noble at the plate for the second out of the inning. Merrick with a single and an RBI, making it 10-0. Tyler Evans will come to the plate. Evans is 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs. The dust cloud still settling around home plate. A lot of activity. It was a fine throw by Pooey. Noble made a fine slide. It just the throw was an excellent throw. It was the right thing, I think, for Coach Roberts to try to send the runner.
Of course, you have the luxury of making calls like that when you're up 10 runs rather than in a tight game where it's maybe a 1-run game or a 2-run game or a tie ball game.
Exactly.
Now there's 2 out in the inning, and Keeler gets his first out by not retiring the batter, but having his defender make a nice play at the plate.
Right. Tyler Evans fouls off the second pitch to level the count at 1-1. Merrick is on first. Dallas is on third, as Dallas came all the way to third when the throw went home. Evans seeing if he can push his average closer to 420. And there's a line drive to center field, but right at Cooper, and that'll retire the side. The Pirates plate 3 more in the last of the 4th and have a 10-run lead now, 10-0 after 4. We move to the top of the 5th here at Pirate Field. The Armstrong Atlantic State Pirates enjoy a 10-run lead, 10-0, as they put runs up on every inning in the first 4 innings. Seeing the 2-3, 2-3 pattern up on the scoreboard and watching 4 goose eggs for the Pacers. Zach Cooper will lead off. He get into a fielder's choice then the 2nd inning, his first time up. He fouls the first pitch off from Ross Partee.
And honestly, it could be even worse. The Pacers turned to double play in the 2nd inning, threw a runner out at the plate last half inning. I don't know if you can say you're fortunate to only be down 10, but
you are fortunate.
Argument could be made.
And there's Cooper with a base hit through the hole in left, past the diving third baseman Kenny Kale. And Cooper leads off the top of the 5th with a base hit. Mark Joink, the shortstop, is next to the plate. Joink struck out looking his first time, one of the 2 strikeouts that Partee has in this game. Joink is hitting .285 for the season with 26 RBIs, and he's the career Pacer leader in assists. Takes the first pitch over for a strike. A few of the Pacer fans complaining about the call from the umpire, but look good from here. Partee delivers another breaking ball, and this one is a little bit low, and the count is 1-1. We've changed people warming up in the bullpen for the Pacers now, and it appears it's the left-hander Mark Yarborough warming up.
Yeah, Yarborough also threw yesterday, so a lot of familiar faces for Pirates and Pacers alike down in the bullpen. Really, Keeler, the only new pitcher from the bullpen that we saw in this game so far.
Right. Joink has fouled one off, and he's in the hole 1-2. And we haven't found a Pacer pitcher that's been effective yet today. Curveball, Joink beats it in the ground the 2nd. And the throw by Josh Dallas is wide, and Wilson couldn't keep his foot on the bag. And we have 1st and 2nd with nobody out.
It took a long time for the ball to get there, so Dallas felt like he had to throw quickly, and when he did that, he threw it to the high first base side of the bag at 2nd, and Wilson unable to keep his foot on the bag. That one's a little obvious. Sometimes you get the old in the vicinity call, but even that, the bases umpire had the rule that Cooper was safe at 2nd, so it's a fielder's choice and an error on the throw by Dallas.
And then a break for the Pacers, and we'll see if they can convert from that. Matt Key is at the plate. He struck out swinging his first time. Swings right through the first pitch for a strike. It's the same pattern that Partee got him in his first at bat, as he just threw 3 fastballs right by Matt Key. Partee trying to pitch around the air. It's from the stretch and delivers. Key fouls it down the left side again with a late swing, and he's in the hole 0-2. If you're calling pitches for the Pirates now, you think you'd keep bringing the hard stuff, as Key has been yet to even show that he can get around on any of the hard stuff right now.
Just there are some pitchers that batters do not like to face. Because there's a pop-up foul territory, Kale on the run, but he'll watch it go out. You know, Partee is not a pitcher that dominates a lot of hitters, but just for some reason, Key doesn't seem to recognize the ball coming out of his hands, or can't catch the rotation, or for whatever reason.
Exactly. Sometimes just the delivery from the pitcher just isn't something that your eye can pick up right away. Key's last 2 foul balls were merely sticking the bat out, trying to spoil the pitch. Partee at the stretch again. Throws a curveball on the outside, and it's now 1-2. I think he was trying to see if Key would chase something, particularly something that was slow. We have 2 on and nobody out. Key at the plate with a 1-2 count. Delivery again, and it's fouled again to the left side and out of play.
Really is the best scoring opportunity that the Pacers have had so far. When they had 2 runners on last inning, they had 1 out. Pirates are able to spin the double play ball and get out of the inning. But here, with 2 on, nobody out, even a productive out to move the runners over would put the Pacers in a good spot to score the first run or runs of the game.
He lifts a fly ball, and Bohannon is going to get underneath it. And a fly ball to medium left field down the line is caught for the first out, and that was an unproductive out as the runners are still at first and second. Pacers now flip the lineup and go to the top of the order with Darryl Puey. Puey's reached base both times today. He singled to start the game, but was caught stealing by Sean Hotzek. And then he was hit by a pitch in the third inning on the top of the helmet.
So as opposed to Key, who has not had much success against Partee, Puey has kind of rattled Partee. He led off the game with a very solid single and then got hit by the pitch by Partee, and now Partee starts him off with the ball.
Infield at double play depth for the Pirates, looking to try to get out of the inning as they did last inning when the Pacers hit into an inning double play. From the stretch comes Partee. The pitch was just a bit inside, we think. 2-0. It's the count. This is a hitter's count, and we'll see if Puey is looking for a particular pitch in a particular zone. Ben Tankersley is on deck. 2 on and 1 out. Pitch from Partee. Inside again. And the count runs to 3-0 on Puey. This is exactly not what you'd like to see if you're the Pirates, is to have this 10-run lead and then begin to see the Pacers chip away at that lead. A lot of baseball left, even though we're in the top of the fifth. That pitch on the inside half of the plate and called for a strike. Puey was taking all the way. The Pacers need base runners and hits.
Absolutely, and especially when you look at the lineup, leadoff hitter up now. If the Pacers can keep runners on base for the big 3-4 hitters of Jacobson and Sheehan, they have to feel pretty good about their chances.
Puey rips one up the middle, just past the diving Josh Dallas for a base hit, and Cooper will score. A single and an RBI for Darryl Puey, and the Pacers have put a run on the scoreboard to make it 10-1. The ball was hit sharply up the middle. Dallas made a fine dive for it and just couldn't quite get it.
Even if he did, it would have been a tough play to either get the force at second or throw the runner out at first. And even if it had gone through cleanly, I think the runner, Cooper, would have scored from third on the way to home, even if Noble had been able to field it. So either way, a good hit by Puey, another RBI for him from the leadoff spot in the order this weekend, and it brings up Ben Tankersley.
Tankersley is 0 for 2 this game. He's flied out to center field twice. The last one with a sliding catch by Noble. He tries to bunt the ball, bunts right through it for strike one. Tankersley leads the Pacers in sacrifice hits, and trying to get runners in scoring position for the Peach Belt Conference RBI leader, Chad Jacobson. We have Puey on first, Joink on second, who reached on the air. Partee puts one right over the plate for strike two, a breaking ball. I think Tankersley was not looking for a breaking ball. He kind of buckled his knees as it went across. And he's in the hole 0-2. Important for Tankersley, for the Pacers, to keep the inning going with a hit. There's a pitch down in the dirt. Another fine play by Hotzek. As we mentioned in the last inning, Hotzek for the Pirates, and along with Etchews and Shearer for the Pacers, doing a fine job of blocking pitches. I think we've only had one wild pitch with all the balls in the dirt this weekend. Oh, Tankersley completely fooled by the
fly. In effect, Dallas makes the catch, but
Tankersley with the non-productive out there again, as he was completely fooled by the off-speed pitch and was way out on his front foot and could just poke the ball on a little looping pop fly. So we have 2 on and 2 out now. Chad Jacobson, the Peach Belt Conference RBI leader, comes to the plate. He flew out to deep left field his first time up in the first inning to end the first inning, and started off the fourth inning with a base on balls, but was left stranded after the double play ended the fourth. We have 2 on 2 out, and Partee is going to be careful to Jacobson. And Jacobson rips it to center field. Noble runs over and makes a fine running catch to end the inning. Jacobson ripped it hard, but Noble was able to chase it down, and the Pacers score 1 in the top of the fifth, and the score is 10-1 as we change innings. Back here at Pirate Field, we move to the last of the fifth. Josh Wilson will be the leadoff hitter. This is his fourth plate appearance in 5 innings. Wilson has a single with that was a 2-out, 2 RBI double in the second. He had a single in the first, a 2-out, 2 RBI double in the second, and then a fielder's choice in the third. First pitch from Keeler was just a bit high as it goes back to the backstop. Josh Etche's having a long day there. He's seen a lot of pitches. His Pacer pitchers have not found the plate very well. There's a line drive that drops into center field for a base hit. And Wilson is now 3 for 4 for the day.
Top of the order, very, very productive for the Pirates. You've got 7 hits with the first 3 batters in the order, and they've also driven in 7 of the runs that the Pirates have scored. So the good job by the bottom of the order to get on base, and then a real nice job by the top 3 hitters in the order for the Pirates, Truman Merrick, Tyler Evans, and Josh Wilson, to bring them home when given the opportunities.
And Kenny Thomas has seen enough of Edwin Keeler, and he's going to the dugout. We're going to have a pitching change. And the tall right-hander Gary Lee is coming in to pitch, and we'll take this break with him, and we'll be back in a moment. The new Pacer pitcher is Gary Lee. Gary Lee was roughed up with the 3-run homer by Truman Merrick in yesterday's first game, and was the first game loser. Edwin Keeler's pitching line will give you in a moment as the first pitch from Gary Lee to Kenny Cale is a strike. Keeler had one of just about every pitching stat you could get. He pitched an inning, he gave up a run, 3 hits, struck out 1, walked 1, and hit 1. Kenny Cale grounds at the second, flipped it from Joink into the double play.
4-6-3 double play, second double play turned by the Pacers today.
It's the third double play. We've been corrected by Stat Crew, and brings up Sean Hotzik to the plate. And was a 4-6-3 double play. Key to Joink to Jacobson. Key making a nice flip to Joink, and Joink turning it well. Hotzik takes the first pitch for a ball. He's 1 for 2. He's singled, he's grounded into a fielder's choice, and he's walked and scored a run. Hotzik hits a line drive, base hit to left field. Gives him his 2nd hit of the day, and his 8th hit of the series.
215th for his career. He's had a very, very nice 2 weeks. He hit over 500 last week for the Pirates in 4 games of action. He was at one point 10 of his last 14 yesterday, and now is 2 for 3 today. So he's having himself a nice final couple of weeks to his 4-year career here as a Pirate.
Great time to have that happen, and particularly with postseason coming along, it's nice to be hot coming into the postseason. Brad Bohannon at the plate takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Bohannon is hit into a double play, an unassisted, or a 6-3 double play where the out at second was unassisted. He singled and scored, and he struck out looking. Swings and misses at this pitch from Gary Lee, and the count evens at 1-1. Top of the lineup has done quite a bit of damage for the Pirates, as there are 8 hits in the first 3 batters, 9 if you include Kenny Cale, who's walked twice, and there's 8 RBIs out of those first 4 hitters. Pitches inside for 2-1.
Really a decision to move Truman Merrick into the leadoff spot where he normally has been hitting second or third has really paid off for the Pirates here today.
Ball is lifted down the right field line, and it's going to slice foul, and the count is now even at 2-2. And Gary Lee, who got roughed up yesterday and unfortunately was roughed up in his last appearance before yesterday, in which he actually started a game in a midweek game and try and get some work in, and he gave up 5 runs in that midweek game in 3 innings. And so really trying to look to see where the closer for the Pacers is trying to find his pitching rhythm again, as he was quite effective in the first part of the season. From the stretch, he delivers to Bohannon, who hits a grounder to Key, who's going to take it at second himself and end the inning. And Gary Lee is able to stop the bleeding, and there were no runs in the 5th inning, and we move to the top of the 6th when we come back with the score 10-1 Pirates. Chad Jackson and Joe Kucharski back here at Pirate Field as we move to the top of the 6th, with the homestanding Pirates leading 10-1. Pacers have the 4, 5, and 6 hitter at the plate to face Ross Partee, who's pitched effectively for 5 innings, giving up just 1 run. Chris Sheehan, the cleanup hitter, bats first. The designated hitter for the Pacers has grounded to short and has grounded to first in his 2 plate appearances so far. He takes a ball low and inside to go run the count to 2-0.
Partee's given up 5 hits. He's walked a couple of batters, or hit a batter and walked a batter. He's also struck out a couple, but where he's been good as he has not given up those hits in a row that the Pirates have been able to string together. The Pirates have had 3 separate innings where they've strung together back-to-back hits, able to score some runs. Partee has not given up back-to-back hits so far in this game, and that really helps when you're trying to limit the other team's big offensive innings.
Partee's done a good job of just scattering the hits, and Sheehan takes the 3-2-1 pitch and grounds it to second. Josh Wilson throws over to Tyler Evans, and the first batter is retired here in the top of the 6th. Ken Rayburn comes to the plate. Rayburn's 2 for 2 today. He's got a pair of singles. Both times he was erased at second base on a fielder's choice. And Partee just wanting to continue to pitch that way and log the outs and scatter the hits and the base runners and get to the point where he's done a fine job and he can call it a day.
He pitched a complete game in the Pirates' last weekend series at USC Upstate, beating USC Upstate 8-2, and that was Partey's first complete game of the year. So he seems to be getting stronger as the season goes on, which is a good sign for the Pirates heading into postseason play.
He's pitched effectively just as he did last weekend at Upstate, where in the 7-inning complete game he gave up 2 runs, 7 hits, and 5 strikeouts. Didn't walk a batter. Counts run to 2-1 on Ken Rayburn.
Rayburn, the only batter in the Pacer lineup today with 2 hits. Or I should say, through the first 2 innings. Hui got his second hit in his 3rd trip up to the plate.
Rayburn's fouled it off to even the count at 2-2. We see no activity in either bullpen at the moment. As we seem to have settled down, the Pacers have had a parade of pitchers this game, with Gary Lee as the 4th pitcher. None of them have been too effective. Pitches upstairs to Ken Rayburn, and the count is full. RT peering in for the sign from Hotzek. He's ready and delivers to Rayburn. And that pitch is inside for ball 4. And the 1-out walk brings Josh Etchews to the plate. Etchews hit a warning track fly ball in the 2nd inning to center fielder Mark Noble, and then hit it into a 5-4-3 double play. Kenny Cale starting the double play around the horn, making a fine play on a hard hit ball.
Really, it's been Pui and Rayburn, the 2 hitters in the Pacer lineup, that have given Partey problems. The other 7 hitters in the order, just 1 hit combined against Ross this afternoon.
And that would be the single by Zach Cooper. First pitch is just a bit outside to Josh Etchews. The count is 1-0. Etchews for the season hitting .268, no home runs, 25 RBIs. He has decent gap power. He's not really a power hitting catcher, but he is able to drive the ball, particularly down the line in right field or into the gap in left center, and that's where his extra base hits have come from this year. RT threw over to first to check on Rayburn. Pitch is outside, and it's 2-0 to Etchews. On deck for the Pacers is Zach Cooper, who has the only hit. Coming out to the mound now for the Pirates is pitching coach Calvin Culberson. As Partey has seemed to lost a little bit of his control here in the top of the 6th.
Yeah, just Coach Culberson just wants to get him back on track with his delivery. And it looks like he's just missing his release point here, because the pitches that he had been throwing for strikes to get ahead of hitters in innings 1, 2, 3, and even the last couple of innings, now they're starting to float away from him. He's missing high, and he's missing. When you miss high, that means you're not getting the right release point, and so he just wants to settle down Ross. It would be great for the Pirates if Ross could complete this game, but I think 7 innings from Ross would be a win for Coach Culberson, Coach Roberts, and the Pirates.
Right.
That way you could get it to Truman Merrick.
Home plate umpire breaks up the conference at the mound. We do see a little bit of activity now beginning in the Pirate bullpen. I think the same thought that you've had, Chad, is that the objective is to get into the 7th or 8th inning. Etchews hits it foul down the left side. Now the count is 2-1. Whatever direction given from Coach Culberson, as Partey threw the next pitch over the plate for a strike, and it was in a good location and was just fouled down the left field line. 1 on, 1 out here in the top of the 6th. Etchews at the plate. It's a line drive base hit to left field. Bohannon fields the ball, and Rayburn will stop at second base, and there are 2 on and 1 out now for Zach Cooper, the Pacer center fielder. Cooper is 1 for 2 with a single, and he grounded into a fielder's choice. He's scored the lone Pacer run so far today, as Pacers now have 1 run on 6 hits.
A pair of right-handers in the Armstrong Atlantic bullpen, Jeff Chase and Nate Herter, who has already pitched twice this weekend, down in the Pirates bullpen warming up. Not too urgently, but they're just throwing leisurely right now.
First pitch from Partee is a strike. Since being instructed by Coach Culberson, Partee has put every pitch over the plate for a strike. Could be quite exactly what you said, Chad, that he was working on mechanics. Next pitch to Cooper is in the dirt, and the count is 1-1. 2 on, 1 out here in the top of the 6th. The Pirates lead 10-1. Pacers looking to chip away. They may need to chip away in chunks now because the innings are moving quite by. Cooper pops it straight up in the air on the infield.
Another infield fly, is, although it gets onto the outfield grass, but the bases umpire makes the call. So Cooper out regardless of the play by Wilson. Wilson does glove it for the second out of the inning.
Now we have 2 on and 2 out, and Mark Joink, the batter. Pacer shortstop struck out looking, reached on an error when shortstop Josh Dallas threw just wide to Wilson at second. And Joink had a critical, not super critical moment, but a key moment for the Pacer hitters, and that to try and chip away at this lead. He fouls the first pitch back behind the plate, and the count is 0-1.
You talked about the 2-out hits that the Pirates were able to get in the first couple of innings. Now it's the Pacers' turn. If they want to get back into this game, they're going to have to get a couple of 2-out base hits, 2-out RBIs. 4 innings left of action, at least get a run or 2 in these early innings and make the 8th and 9th innings more manageable.
Exactly. The Pirates had, I believe, 3 or 4 RBIs with 2 outs in the first couple of innings, and that the Pacers looking for similar response in that. Nick Ogerchuk is moved into the on-deck circle as a pinch hitter for the Pacers. The 1-1 pitch to Joink is lined toward right center field, and Truman Merrick is right there, and he played Joink exactly correct, and the side is retired in the top of the 6th with no runs, and we move to the bottom of the 6th when we return. And we move to the last of the 6th here at Pirate Field. Gary Lee still on the mound. Matt Key, because of the 3rd out being made before he was pinch hit for, still out on second base for the Pacers. And leading off will be the designated hitter, Eric Hudson. He's reached base all 3 times that he has been at the plate. He has 2 walks and a single, scored a run. Fouls the first pitch off from Gary Lee for strike 1. A little dust in the umpire's eye behind the plate.
Hudson reached on that bunt base hit where the ball didn't took a backspin against the pitcher, and he was able to head down the line at first and reach without a throw. We've seen a few bunt base hits for the Pirates. Some of them on the merit of the batter, and some of them just on the funky bounces or the funky spins of the ball.
Yesterday, the one that was most memorable was Merrick pushed one down the third base line that was just, you couldn't have placed the ball any better. Count is now 1-2 on Hudson as he swings and misses at a Gary Lee fastball. Pirates enjoying this 9-run lead. Gary Lee just a hair high. Josh Etchews is completely out of the crouch, jumped to catch it. The Jolly Green Giant would have swung and missed at that. Oh, and a fine pitch by Lee on the inside corner for strike 3. And Hudson goes down looking.
Second strikeout for Pacer pitching today, and both caught looking.
Mark Noble, the center fielder, comes to the plate. He's been hit by a pitch, grounded out, and also is hit into a double play. His hit by pitch was for an RBI, and he's made a couple of fine plays in center field, a sliding catch on Ben Tankersley, and then he also made a good running catch on a line drive that was headed toward the gap by Chad Jacobson. First pitch is a strike. Gary Lee has come in throwing strikes. Next pitch is fouled back, be almost into the press box. As we are sitting on top of the dugout here at Pirate Field, and that foul ball actually hit the stairwell coming up to the clubhouse. Almost a souvenir. Count goes to 1-2 as the pitch was low and inside. Lee delivers, and Noble swings at a ball in the dirt, strikes out. Etchews tags him out and throws the ball around the horn, and the first 2 batters in the last of the 6th have struck out. Josh Dallas, the shortstop, comes to the plate. He has an RBI today. He's walked and scored. He's been hit by a pitch, and he's also singled.
Another one of the rarities where the left-handed starter, John Paul, really had trouble with the bottom of the order, the left-handed pitcher against the left-handed hitters. Here, the right-hander, the hard-throwing right-hander, Gary Lee, having no problem with the bottom of the order, the left-handed hitters, striking out Hudson and Noble.
Strike 2 now is a swing and a miss to Dallas, and Gary Lee is throwing hard, and I think part of the piece, too, is that Gary Lee has brought such a change of speed to the Pirate batters. As they've been used to seeing John Paul, who started, who was a soft thrower. Adam Lovelace and Edwin Keeler are not exactly the hardest of throwers either, all control pitchers. Pitch is low, and now the count runs to 2-2 as a gust of wind comes up from behind the plate and blows some dust across the infield. Lee winds and delivers, and Dallas hits a line drive base hit to center field. Cooper out in toward the gap, and Dallas is going to leg this into a double.
Hustle double there for Dallas. It was hit very deep in the gap, and Cooper had to go over and cut the ball off. Didn't field it cleanly, but Dallas was running all the way because Cooper was so deep in the outfield.
Exactly. Cooper plays a fairly deep center field for the Pacers. The ball he was cutting it off toward the gap, and Dallas was off like a shot on the crack of the bat and never stopped and was easily in with a double. Flips the lineup back to Truman Merrick. Merrick is 2 for 4 so far today, his 5th at bat here in the 6th inning, and he has 2 RBIs. The change in the lineup that Coach Roberts came up with this afternoon has seemed to have been quite effective.
Merrick, of course, has already faced Lee once in this weekend, hit the 3-run home run off of Lee, so Lee starts him off with an off-speed pitch, which Merrick swings and misses at.
Yeah. Merrick hit a fastball that was out over the plate about 410 feet yesterday for the game-winning home run in the first game. Another breaking ball, and the count is now 1-1. We'll see if Lee is going to actually challenge Merrick at this point. The 9-run lead and a runner on second base. He delivers a fastball that's low and away, and the count is 2-1 now to Merrick. Runner on second, 2 out. Last of the 6th. Pirates lead 10-1. 10-14-1 is the line score for the Pirates. 1-6-0 for the Pacers. Merrick kind of fooled, hits a slow roller into the hole. Joink stops the ball, and here comes Dallas coming to score, and he'll score. And Merrick, trying to take second, is gunned out by Josh Etchews. The run counts, and so we have another run plated as Dallas scores on the base hit by Merrick. into the hole, and then Merrick is gunned out Etchews to key. And we've completed 6 innings of play with the score 11-1 Pirates.
We move to the top of the 7th inning, and Armstrong Atlantic will make the move to the bullpen and bring in junior Jeff Chase to relieve Ross Partee. Chase comes in with a 4-3 record on the season, making his 18th appearance of the season, 5.08 ERA. And Partee pitched very, very well for the 2nd straight start for the Pirates. Went 6 innings, gave up 1 unearned run, gave up 6 hits, walked 2, struck out 2. Is in line to win this one for Armstrong Atlantic. Chase delivers a first pitch ball to the second baseman, Matt Key, who gets a new lease on life. Ground ball to second. Josh Wilson up with it quickly, flips to first, and there's 1 down.
Partee pitched a fine ball game with just the 1 unearned run, and it's given way now to Chase, and objective for Jeff Chase is just to get some outs.
Chase started the year as a conference starter, but ran into trouble on the road with those big innings. He gave up 7 runs at Lander, gave up 7 runs at Georgia College that really overinflated his ERA. But since then, Partee has pitched better, putting Chase in the bullpen and as a midweek starter. But he's been trying to work his way back into the regular rotation here with some relief work. Hard thrower with a good breaking ball. But that one's hit in the center field by Darryl Pui, and Pui has himself a 3-hit day.
And Pui just took the ball right up the middle, and that Chase made an effort at it, but it was hit far too sharply for him to do anything about it.
A lot of topspin when you hit that ball right up the middle on a 12-6 breaking ball, and Chase just couldn't get a glove on it. And it brings up Ben Tankersley, 0 for 3 today with a pop out and a pair of flyouts to center field, one on a nice defensive play by Mark Noble. Top of the 7th inning, 11-1, time starting to run out here for the Pacers, as the Pirates have been in control throughout, starting off the game with 2 runs in the first inning. They added 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and 3 in the fourth to take a very early 10-0 lead. Pacers got on the board in the 5th inning with a single run, and the Pirates answered back with a run in the bottom half of the 6th.
It comes time now for the Pacers with only 3 innings left. They need the big cricket number if they want to get back in the game.
They need runs in bunches. They need base runners on any way possible. 1-1 count now on Tankersley. Chase paying attention to Pui, though I can't imagine they'd be straight stealing with 10-run lead, but they might remove the runner to try and stay out of a double play. Try and get a little hit-and-run action working. 1-1 big breaking ball stays high, though, on Tankersley to make it 2-1. Peach Belt Conference tournament will begin in a week and a half, or about 10 days from now, up in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Both the Pirates and the Pacers will be participants in the Peach Belt Conference tournament. Seeding's still not finalized, except for the top three. We know that Georgia College will be number one, Columbus State will be number two, USC Aiken, or excuse me, Francis Marion will most likely be number three. As there's a ground ball to second, Wilson flips to short for one, on to first. It is a 4-6-3 double play, and that retires the side. Second double play turned by the Pirates today, and we go to the bottom of the seventh inning. It's the seventh inning stretch. Stand up wherever you are. Pirates lead it 11-1. We move to the bottom of the seventh inning, and head coach Kenny Thomas for USC Aiken has spent the entire middle part of the inning giving an earful to the bases coach after the double play call that ended last half inning. He retreats now to the USC Aiken dugout, and Tyler Evans will lead things off for the Pirates against Gary Lee. Lee worked a pretty effective last inning against the Pirates, giving up the double, but getting out of the inning on a batter thrown out on the bases after he struck out the first two batters he faced.
Right, Gary. That last run for the Pirates was unearned as the ball was hitting the hole, and Joink was unable to keep it where it belonged.
Fair ball down the left field line, a high chopper over the head of the third baseman Rayburn, and Tyler Evans continues to impress at the plate. Fourth hit of the day, his first extra base hit as his average continues to climb.
And the Pirates 4 for 5 today.
4 for 5 after coming into the day, hitting .411, and he's now in scoring position for Josh Wilson, who is 3 for 4 today with a double of his own. That was back in the second inning.
He has 2 RBIs to go along with those 3 hits.
Line drive down the left field line. That is a fair ball. So Evans and Wilson are going to trade places here as Wilson pulls up into second base, and the Pirates now lead at 12-1 on back-to-back doubles by Tyler Evans and Josh Wilson, and that's going to get activity back up in the bullpen, and it's also going to bring a visit to the mound. And we are going to have a pitching change. So Gary Lee's day is done, and we'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back. You're listening to Pirate Baseball. Fifth pitcher of the day for USC Aiken is freshman Chris Perry, an imposing presence on the mound, 6'5", left-hander, freshman from North Augusta, South Carolina. And he will face the Pirates' third baseman Kenny Cale. Perry making just his fifth appearance of the year. No record, a 9.53 ERA. He's pitched 5 2/3 innings, given up 14 hits, 9 runs, 6 earned. He has walked 1 and struck out 6. But again, most of that damage done against him in just one game, Joe.
Right. Perry came in a blowout victory against Benedict and unfortunately gave up 7 runs in 1 inning and could have been out of the inning before any runs had scored. And the hard-throwing left-hander, he uses all that 6'5" with the extension and over the top and throws very hard.
So Perry's first pitch to Kenny Cale is low for ball 1. Josh Wilson on at second base. He drove in Tyler Evans with an RBI double. As it's 12-1, we are in the bottom of the 7th inning. Fastball, that's right at the belt for a strike, makes the count 1-1.
And Perry's got an extremely live arm, and if he can gain control of that fastball, he'll be quite a pitcher. Most of the hits against him, he leaves that ball out over the plate, and he can catch up with it.
Breaking ball, good. Breaking ball drops in for a strike, and it's 1-2. 6'5" means that ball is closer to the plate when it's being released. That adds the appearance of a couple of extra miles an hour on your pitches. And then to mix in a breaking ball like that, coming over the top. 1-2 pitch. This one's lifted into center field. On the run is Cooper. He'll make the catch for the first out of the inning.
That pitch being that breaking ball again, and the batter Kenny Cale was off balance when he hit it and just was able to lift a soft fly to center field.
So I'll bring up Sean Hotzak, quite possibly for his final at-bat here at Pirate Field, and it has been a lengthy career for the senior from North Vancouver. 670 at-bats in his career. That's 5th all-time. 13 career home runs, ground ball foul, 52 career RBIs, 215 hits now, 137 RBIs. He is also 9th in total bases for the Pirates with 308, and he has been a fixture for the Pirates. An interesting note about him, Joe, he has played not only catcher, but he has played every position in the infield during his career. Played a couple of games at third base as a freshman. Played extensively at first base when the Pirates want to give him a break and play backup catcher Chris Smith. But last year, injuries depleted the Pirates' infield, where Hotzak even took a turn at second base and shortstop. That was during the Peach Bowl Conference tournament in Aiken last year.
Hotzak showing his versatility and a true team player, being able to put wherever he wants to go and wherever they need him.
Perry's 2-1 delivery upcoming to Hotzak. That's a little outside, taken for a ball, and it's now 3-1. It'll be interesting to see what the Pirates bring in, because you'll have to almost bring in 2 players to replace what Hotzak has been able to do, playing first base as well as catching for the Pirates. Swing and a miss makes the count full on Hotzak.
Hotzak's been catching quite a bit this year and is a fine backstop man.
Perry gets the sign from Etchews and will deliver the payoff pitch, and instead, time is called by Hotzak. Wanted to prolong that at-bat a little bit longer.
Savor the moment.
The 3-2 delivery from Perry is low and away, ball 4, and it gets away from the catcher, Etchews. Throw down to third, not in time. So it's a walk to allow Hotzak to reach, then a wild pitch to move Wilson from second to third. And that will bring up Brad Bohannon.
Runners on the corner, and Chad, just in case you thought we've seen every pitcher that the Pacers have, it looks like Houston Taylor's warming up in the bullpen now.
Taylor made a brief appearance in the bullpen in yesterday's doubleheader, did not pitch in the game against the Pirates, but is now up in the pen in case Perry runs into more trouble. And still another inning to go in this game. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Pacers have to at least get through the bottom of the 8th. As the first pitch from Perry is upstairs to Bohannon. Brad is 1 for 4 in this game. He is grounded into a fielder's choice. He is also grounded into a double play, singled and struck out. Hits a pop-up foul territory. On the run is Jacobson. He's digging hard, but he will not be able to catch up to it as it falls for strike 1.
As we've mentioned, a lot of foul ground here at Pirate Field, and the ball did fall on the playing field, but Jacobson probably made a 100-yard dash going after it.
That's the situation where Jacobson comes back to the bag and says, "Don't hit it to me," at least for another pitch. Catch his breath. 1-1 delivery from Perry is fouled back to the screen by Bohannon, making the count 1-2. 12-1. Pirates have out-hit the Pacers today, 18-7. Unlike Game 1, they've been able to mix a few extra base hits in amongst those hits, including the back-to-back doubles that started this inning. Pitch high to Bohannon makes it 2-2.
Perry mixing up his pitches a lot more than we've seen him earlier this year when he has pitched. He's relying a little bit more on the breaking ball and getting that mix.
Another pitch high brings the count to 3-2. Again, runners on the corners. There's one out in the inning. The payoff pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3. And Bohannon strikes out for the 2nd time today. And with 2 down, it brings up Eric Hudson.
It's a bit unfair for Bohannon. He saw 3 breaking balls that floated in just a little bit high, and then all of a sudden here comes the heat down around the knees.
Hudson steps in. He's been on base 3 times today, walked twice, reached on a bunt single, also struck out. Takes a pitch down and away for ball 1. Aiken's relievers have looked impressive to the first couple of hitters when they've come in, as there's a ground ball to second. Easy play for Key. Flips to first, and that retires the side. We'll finish that thought as we come back for the top of the 8th inning. You're listening to Power Baseball. Armstrong leads it 12-1. Chad Jackson with Joe Kucharski back with you here at Pirate Field. Latter stages of Game 3 of this Peach Belt Conference Series, and also the 2007 regular season home schedule for Armstrong Atlantic. Pirates ahead 12-1, and it will be the 3, 4, 5 hitters in the order for USC Aiken facing reliever Jeff Chase here in the 8th inning. Jacobson steps in 0 for 2 today. He has drawn a walk. He's also lined out and flied out. And continuing the thought from the last half inning, Joe, it looked like the Pacer pitchers today effective to the first couple of batters they face, but once they get to batter 6, 7, 8, that's when the Pirate hitters are really starting to catch up with what they were bringing.
Yeah, exactly. Particularly noticeable with both Keeler and Gary Lee is they retired several batters, and then about the 5th or 6th batter started getting hit around. And unlike yesterday where the 3 and 4 hitters for the Pacers were 7 for 10, they're combined 0 for 5 right now, and that's part of the reason why the Pacers only have 1 run on the board.
2-0 pitch from Chase is upstairs, and Chase has been high with all 3 pitches to Jacobson here leading off the 8th inning. So again, barring anything completely unusual, the Pirates should improve to 14 and 13 overall, or in the Peach Belt Conference. USC Aiken will now drop into a tie with USC Upstate, which will be interesting. What happened in the series between the 2 teams this year?
Upstate came down to Aiken and swept the Pacers all 3 games. All 3 games were close, but Upstate has the tiebreaker in that instance.
So for seeding purposes, USC Upstate would have the upper hand on USC Aiken. So now Aiken must hope that the Pirates go to North Georgia and stumble a bit against the Saints to avoid being that number 6 seed and facing Georgia College in the first round of the Peach Bowl Conference tournament. Chase walks Jacobson, and then first pitch to Chris Sheehan is high, so Sean Hotzak heads out to the mound to try and calm him down. Chase pitched pretty effectively his last inning, gave up just the single, but got the 4-6-3 double play ball to end the inning, but he's yet to throw a strike to the Pacer hitters here in the 8th. Finally, one is a little closer, but evidently not close enough for the home plate umpire's liking, and it's 2-0.
Pacers have historically not been a very good come-from-behind team, and that the only time we've seen the Pacers come from behind in the last 3 years was a couple of years ago against Upstate, and they scored 7 runs in the last of the 7th, 3 runs in the last of the 8th, and won the game in the 14th. It was a 6-hour ball game, and many people ate late dinners that night.
But yet still not as long as the first round of the NFL draft yesterday.
Exactly.
3-1 pitch from Chase upcoming to Sheehan. Big swing and a miss. Challenged him with a high fastball. Sheehan was swinging for the fences on that one, and the count goes to 3-2.
Sheehan was certainly not cheated there.
No.
I think he saw a pitch that he finally thought he could catch up with, but the high fastball was past him.
The 3-2 delivery popped up in the infield. Chase will catch it himself. Not often you see a pop-up to the pitcher, but Chase retires Sheehan on the full count pitch, and that brings up the third baseman. Ken Rayburn has had a nice day today, 2 for 2. He has been on base all 3 times he's been up.
Rayburn has been one of the more consistent of the Pacer hitters. He's ranks, I think it's 9th in the Peach Belt Conference in on-base percentage.
Takes a first pitch strike at the knees from Chase, and it's 0-1.
Looking at my stats here, I don't see it.
Fastball, this one sails high. Chase almost exclusively working with his fastball here in the 8th inning. Walked Jacobson to lead the inning, but had made a nice 3-2 pitch to get Sheehan to pop up. Now the 1-1 delivery to Rayburn is outside, and it's 2-1.
I think Chase just trying to throw strikes and have the Pacer hitters hit the ball, let the fielders field, and get himself to the dugout so he can ice down before the
banquet tonight. That's right. Line drive up the middle. That's a base hit, a 3-hit day for Rayburn. Rayburn and Pui with 3 hits apiece, and that's 6 of the 8 hits for USC Aiken this afternoon.
Josh Etchews is coming up to the bat, and Zach Cooper, who's on deck, are the other 2 Pacer players with hits today.
Etchu singled his last time up. That was against Ross Partee. He is 1 for 3 today. He is also grounded into a double play. We've seen 5 double plays turned today by both teams. We've also seen a runner thrown out at the plate.
Runner thrown out at second base by the catcher.
And the first pitch from Chase to Etchus is right over the plate for strike 1.
Runner caught stealing, a fine diving play. Wild pitch. I think we've missed the balk. We've seen catcher's interference
today. Great. This would be a great baseball bingo day. Seen a little bit of everything. Clear your card. Foul ball off the bat of Etchus makes it an 0-2 count, with 2 on and 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. Chase delivers a breaking ball outside. Nice sliding catch by Hotzak. Makes the count 1-2.
Well, again, the line.
Fans, be sure to tune in. We will have our webcam running on Thursday and Friday as we bring you the NCAA men's and women's tennis Mid-Atlantic Regional from the ASU Tennis Complex. Kind of hard to do play-by-play for a tennis match when you have 6 matches going on at once, but we like to set up the webcam and let you take a look at the nationally ranked Lady Pirates and Pirate tennis teams. Armstrong Atlantic will take on Fayetteville State in women's tennis on Thursday morning, and then in the afternoon, Armstrong Atlantic will take on Shaw. The other matches taking place on Thursday, Augusta State will take on USC Aiken's men on Thursday afternoon, and then Francis Marion will take on Georgia College's women. That will be on Thursday morning, and then Friday we'll have the championship matches of both the men's and the women's side of the bracket. The winner of those matches will then advance to Altamont Springs, Florida for the Division II National Tennis Championships, which will take place on Wednesday through Saturday, 9th through the 12th.
What time will we see that on the webcam?
Webcam for the Lady Pirates will be 10 a.m. The webcam for the men will be 2 o'clock.
I'll make sure I bookmark my browser and join in from Aiken.
And Chase hits Etchus on the hand with a pitch. Etchus was holding up his swing. He checked his swing a bit and ended up hitting him. That's the second time we've seen that this weekend with a hit by pitch on the hand, gripping the bat. And so the bases are loaded here with 1 out for Zach Cooper, the center fielder.
And we're having the cornucopia getting the bases loaded. We have a walk, a single, a hit batsman. That's the 3rd or 4th hit batsman today.
Cooper 1 for 3 today. Swings and fouls off the first pitch for strike 1. There is some activity in the bullpen, I believe. Nate Herter is still down in the... Actually, Jeremy Horst is down in the pen now, loosening up. That was chopped. Swing on a foul ball makes it 0-2.
That was the 4th hit batsman of the day. Each team has hit 2.
And they've been in a variety of places. We had a hit on the hand, a hit in the helmet, a hit on the thigh.
And I'm not sure where the 4th hit was, but
I think that was in the back. Pitch bounces in to Hotzak on 0-2 and makes the count 1-2.
It's just such a luxury when you have a good catcher like Hotzak that you can throw that 0-2 breaking ball and bounce it up there and know that it's not going to go back to the backstop.
The 1-2 pitch from Chase lifted into very shallow right field. Truman Merritt makes the running catch, and the Pirates keep the runners at bay as the runner at third, Jacobson, to come halfway down the line, seeing if Merrick had made the catch. When he did, he had to scamper back towards third base.
Fine running catch by Merrick. He's positioned himself well today. We've seen a couple times where he's given the line, and with Cooper, he actually had shaded back over a little bit toward the line and had come in, and probably recognizing Zach as not a power hitter.
Yeah, he's not going to pull Chase's fastball. He's going to hit it the opposite way. So he came in a little bit, played it perfectly, got the second out of the inning, and now Chase delivers a first pitch ball to the shortstop, Mark Joink, who is 0 for 3 today. Joink has been caught looking, hit into a fielder's choice, and also flied out to right field. He fouls one off here to even the count at 1-1.
That Merrick again shading toward the line and right and coming in, and I think that's recognizing the power that Chase has on the mound.
Breaking ball sails outside for a ball, making it 2-1. Chase delivers such a fast fastball that if you make solid contact, it probably doesn't matter where you're positioned. You're probably not going to catch it unless it's right at you. The 2-1 delivery is outside, and it's now 3-1. Chase in danger of walking in a run here. Not too much of a cause for concern. It's just annoying right now with a 12-1 lead, but the bases are still loaded for USC Aiken. And the pitch is low, and Chase walks in a run, making it 12-2.
And finally, Nick Ogrechuk comes to the plate. As last time when Joink made the last out in the 6th inning, Ogrechuk was in the on-deck circle. And now he comes to the plate here in the in the top of the 8th, with the bases loaded and 2 out.
Ogrechuk pinch hit once in yesterday's doubleheader on the season. He is hitting .344, 11 for 32, with 1 home run and 9 runs driven in. Normally the backup first baseman for the Pacers. A left-handed hitter against the right-hander Chase. And he takes a first pitch outside for ball 1.
Ogrechuk has 1 home run on the year, and that home run actually came in the game when Chris Sheehan had 6 RBIs in back-to-back innings and in back-to-back at-bats.
Another visit to the mound by assistant coach Calvin Culberson as we see Spivey warming up outside the Aiken dugout. Will come in defensively in the bottom half of the 8th inning to play second base, and again, Culberson having to come out and just concentrate, tell his pitcher to concentrate on his mechanics. Just not, looks like he's just not following through with his legs on this one.
Looks like
releasing it too quickly. Ball sails upwards, not getting it down in the zone.
Looks like the same instructions that he gave to Partee earlier in the game, and Partee came in and finished off the inning in fine fashion.
So Chase will now go to work with a 1-0 count on Ogrechuk. It's big swing and a miss on the fastball. Makes the count 1-1. 90% of the time when pitching coaches come out, that next pitch is going to be a strike.
Exactly. If the instructions are correct.
1-1 pitch grounded to short. Dallas will flip it to Wilson, and that will end the inning. So USC Aiken gets a run, but we will go to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Pirates leading at 12-2. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. A couple of defensive changes for USC Aiken, as number 4 Matt Spivey will come into the game to play second base for Matt Key, and the new pitcher for USC Aiken is Houston Taylor. Taylor becomes the 5th pitcher of the day for USC, or 6th pitcher of the day, excuse me, for USC Aiken. And he will face Mark Noble leading off the bottom of the 8th inning. Taylor making his 11th appearance of the year, 0-1 with a 5.40 ERA. He's thrown 18 in the 3rd innings, given up 29 hits, walked 3, struck out 10. And he starts off Noble with a ball and a strike.
Notably, batters are hitting .367 against him. And then the pitching line on Chris Perry was an inning pitched. He had a walk, a strikeout, and a wild pitch.
Noble fouls off the 1-1 pitch off of his own body, so count moves to 1-2. Noble without a hit today, is the only Pirate starter without a hit. He has, however, driven in a run with a bases-loaded hit batsman. 18 hits for the Pirates as a team today, and a line drive right to the first baseman, Chad Jacobson. Jacobson snares it for out number 1.
Noble hit the ball hard, but right at Jacobson. Interesting, along with the 18 hits for the Pirates, they've left 9 on base, which isn't bad when you've scored 12 runs. The Pacers, on the other hand, only 2 runs, 8 hits, but 10 runners left on base. And the difference, I think, in this game has been a lot of the 2-out RBIs that the Pirates came up with, particularly early in the game.
Taylor delivers a first pitch ball to Josh Dallas, who doubled his last time up and scored. He has also driven in a run with a single. He is officially 2 for 2 today and has been on base all 4 times he's been up. 1-1 count from Taylor. Big swing and a miss as Taylor took something off of that pitch, and it's now 1-2.
And I think the last arm that the Pacers have left, Jonathan Bolt is warming up. Jonathan, usually a midweek starter for the Pacers. He's a freshman.
Just a little insurance in case Taylor runs into any real trouble here. The 2-2 delivery, grounded to second. Spivey will get a chance in his first inning in the field. He throws out Dallas, and there's quickly 2 down.
And Taylor's come in throwing strikes, which is good. But as you pointed out, most of the 6 Pacer pitchers have done well in their first 2 or 3 batters, up to maybe batter 5 or 6, and that's when they started to get into trouble.
So we go back to the top of the order. Truman Merrick, 3 for 5 today. He's driven in a pair of runs. He'll take a pitch down and away from Taylor for ball 1. Merrick kind of hit a slump at the plate about 3 weeks ago. He was hitting up around 400 for most of the year. Average dipped down to around 350, but he's starting to heat back up again. Came into today hitting 356, but he has a 3-hit day today.
He had a pair of hits yesterday also, so 5 hits on the weekend. 14 at-bats.
And again, it'll be interesting when it comes down to the postseason honors, whether Merrick will be an all-conference outfielder, will he be an all-conference relief pitcher, or maybe both.
Maybe both. And that he's just an outstanding all-around player, and that saw yesterday, particularly in the first game, with the game-winning home run, the 9th inning save, and today he's played well in the outfield.
2-1 delivery from Taylor is fouled over towards the Aiken dugout, making the count 2-2. Definitely have to think that both Chad Jacobson and Chris Sheehan in line for all conference honors the way they have played this season with the power numbers. Armstrong Atlantic has a couple of other all-conference candidates. Tyler Evans hitting well over 400, has to be in the mix as well. Also, Mark Noble, who is hitting about the same as he hit last year, 390, as there's another pitch fouled off. And then possibly even Josh Wilson, offensive second baseman, hitting right around 348 with some good power numbers.
And particularly with Georgia College and State's Hans Stansel being out with injury, and he's been a perennial candidate for that all-conference honor.
So the count runs full. Merrick's fouled off a couple of pitches here, so a payoff pitch again from Taylor. Grounded to second. Spivey flips to first, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Pirates for the first time today. We go to the top of the ninth inning. It's 12-2 Pirates. We move to the top of the ninth inning. Armstrong Atlantic trying to close out a 12-2 win and also take this three-game Peach Belt Conference Series from USC Aiken. Right-hander Jeff Chase beginning his third inning of work, and he will face the top of the order for USC Aiken, Darryl Pui, Ben Tankersley, and Chad Jacobson. Pui has been a hard out for the Pirates today. In fact, he has been on base all 4 times. He's been up with 3 hits, and he is also hit by a pitch. Chase starts him off with a couple of pitches outside the strike zone.
I think Pui was the one hit on the helmet, if I remember right.
2-0 pitch, that drops in for a strike, makes it 2-1. Fly ball into center field. On the run is Noble, and he makes the fine running catch on the drive by Pui for the first out of the ninth inning.
It's the second fine catch that he's made on the run. It'll go along with the sliding catch. He's actually made 3 fine catches, one on Pui there, one on Tankersley, and one on Jacobson back in the 5th inning.
So one down, Ben Tankersley, the left fielder, will step in searching for his first hit of the day. He has popped up, flied out twice, and hit into a semi-controversial 4-6-3 double play. That one brought head coach Kenny Thomas out for a chat with the bases umpire. Didn't look like to me it was all that controversial, but Thomas perhaps just trying to fire his team up a little bit.
Either that or get to the bus early. And he spent the entire half inning, or change in between the innings with the first base umpire.
1-1 pitch from Chase is a strike at the knees, making it 1-2. Now the 1-2 delivery is fouled off. Tankersley chased that high fastball up around his helmet, but did a good job to get a piece of it.
And Tankersley's 0 for 4 today. Like to get on base for him.
Fly ball into right field. On the run, Merrick settles underneath it, makes the catch. And the Pacers are down to their final out as it brings up the first baseman, Chad Jacobson.
Jacobson's 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. He's hit the ball hard the 2 times he's hit it and been out. Hit a ball to the warning track and left, and then, as we mentioned earlier, in the top of the 5th, Noble making a fine running catch on the line drive that he hit.
And really very very infrequently did Jacobson and Sheehan come up with runners on base in front of them, unlike yesterday, where it seemed like every time one of them was up, there was somebody on. Towering fly ball to deep right field, and this is going to fall in fair territory. Merrick will throw to second, and Sheehan is in with the double down the right field line. And that is the first extra base hit for the Pacers in this ball game.
It was Chad Jacobson's 23rd double, which puts him one behind the season record for Pacers held by Robert Davis, who got it 2 years ago, and Bradley Key the year before him.
So he'll go into Spartanburg looking for perhaps the record-tying or the record-breaking double, as the first pitch to Ken Rayburn, or excuse me, to Chris Sheehan is high for ball one.
Sheehan 0 for 4 today. His appearance against Chase was a pop-up that Chase actually caught.
Yeah, Sheehan has batted twice with runners ahead of him. Both times before, it was Jacobson reaching on a walk, but the Pirates able to retire Sheehan on a ground ball to first and that pop-up back to the pitcher Chase. So this is the third time that Sheehan has been on with a runner ahead of him, but the first time he's had a runner in scoring position ahead of him. Breaking ball chopped to short. Dallas has to take on the high hop, but he throws on to first, and that retires the side, and the Pirates take the game and the series, winning it 12-2. Ross Partee is your winner, improves to 6-4. John Paul suffers the loss, falls to 6-7, and Jeff Chase picks up his second save of the season. Well, John, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me this weekend, and we will hopefully see you in Spartanburg.
Chad, looking forward to it and like to get up to see some of the games of the tournament.
Armstrong Atlantic will head to North Georgia this next weekend and then head to Spartanburg for the Peach Bowl Conference Tournament. So for Joe Kucharski, Chad Jackson saying good afternoon from Pirate Field. We will talk to you from Spartanburg in a couple of weeks.